Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we are opening up a file that sits, well, right at the intersection of some pretty urgent government stats, social policy, and the deeply personal, messy reality of family life.
We're talking about the UK fostering system.
We are. We've got the State of the Nation reports, the recruitment targets from the Department for Education, and a really fascinating stack of behavioral research on why people step forward. And maybe more importantly, why they don't.
It's a huge topic, and it's a strange one, isn't it? Because on one hand, you have this very sort of cold, hard data about a capacity crisis.
Right.
And, statutory sufficiency duties not being met. But on the other hand, the solution is just, it's entirely emotional. It's domestic.
It's about what happens in living rooms.
Exactly. It's bridging that gap between a spreadsheet in Whitehall and, a spare bedroom in Birmingham or Glasgow.
It really is the ultimate collision of policy and people. But before we unpack any of that, the crisis numbers or the psychology of what's called the weight.
And there's a lot there.
There is. But first, we have to address the elephant in the room.
The very loud, very North American elephant.
Right. If you're a new listener, you've probably just looked at the title of this deep dive, UK fostering, and then you hear us, and you're checking your phone thinking you've downloaded the wrong thing.
If you're thinking, are these two about to start talking about dollars?
Yeah, exactly. Do they even know what a council tax bill is?
It's a fair question, though. I mean, usually when you hear accents like ours talking about foster care, it's about the U.S. system, which is, well, it's completely different, legally, structurally.
So let's just clear the air right now.
Yeah.
Yes, we sound like we should be looking for a sidewalk. But the reality is, the UK has been home for over 2 decades for me. And more to the point, this isn't some academic exercise. I've been in approved foster care inside the British system for over 10 years. I've done the skills to foster training, sat in the LAC reviews, that's looked after children reviews for anyone new to the jargon.
Yeah.
I've done it all right here.
And on my side, I've spent nearly 15 years working in the UK social care sector. My whole career is rooted in how British local authorities work, how the independent fostering agencies operate, where the whole system is, frankly, creaking at the seams.
So while the vowels might be American, the professional DNA is thoroughly British.
I think that's a good way to put it.
We promise no diapers, no vacation. It's strictly nappies, holidays, and the statutory framework of the Children Act, 1989.
We know the difference between Ofsted and the CQC. We know exactly how long you have to wait on hold to the council.
We certainly do. So now that we've established we do actually live here and know what we're talking about, what's the mission for this deep dive? Why this? Why now?
I think the goal is just to demystify it all.
Yeah. The research suggests there's a specific person who tunes into a topic like this. You might be what the data calls the learner. You've thought about fostering. Maybe an ad on a bus or a post on Facebook during foster care fortnight caught your eye.
You felt a little spark.
A spark, exactly. Then you put it away. You thought, oh, not me. You're not now. I'm not ready.
And that hesitation, that's the central thing we want to explore. Because when you look at the source material, especially the recent data, the luxury of waiting is just, well, it's disappearing.
Let's get into that data then. The State of the Nation report in our stack it's pretty sobering. The headline figure is the one that just stops you in your tracks.
Over 100,000.
Over 100,000.
It's a number that's so big, it's hard to even picture. Over 100,000 children currently looked after away from home across the UK. It's not a stadium, it's a city.
Wow.
Imagine a city the size of Lincoln or Worcester, populated entirely by children who can't live with their birth families. That's the scale we're talking about.
And the trend is going in the wrong direction. The number of children is rising, but the workforce, the carers, is shrinking.
And that's the critical mismatch. The data shows an immediate need for about 6,500 more foster families right now.
And we should probably explain what shortage actually means in this context. It's not like a hotel having a few empty rooms.
No, not at all. When we say there's a shortage, we mean the sufficiency duty. That's the legal requirement for councils to have enough local homes for local kids is failing.
And that's where the abstract numbers hit the reality of a child's Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah. So a social worker has a sibling group of 3 coming into care at 4 o'clock on a Friday. What happens if there isn't one home that can take all 3?
They get split up.
They get split up. That is the tragedy of this shortage. We are seeing brothers and sisters separated simply because the logistics don't work.
Or they're moved miles away.
That's the other one. An out-of-area placement. A child is from Birmingham, but the only bed available is 50 miles away.
Which just compounds the trauma, doesn't it?
Yeah.
They've lost their home, their parents, their pets, and now they lose their school, their friends, their scout troop.
Everything that anchored them is just gone. It turns a crisis into a catastrophe for that child. Stability is the most important therapeutic tool we have, and the shortage makes stability geographically impossible.
So, if the need is so high, if everyone is crying out for 6,500 families, why aren't people knocking down the doors?
Well, this brings us to that fascinating bit of psychological research in our notes. The phenomenon called the wait.
The 2-year wait.
The 2-year wait. The research shows that on average, there is a 2-year gap between the moment someone first thinks, I could do that, and the moment they actually pick up the phone.
2 years. I mean, that's a lifetime in a child's development. What is happening in that void? Is it just people putting it off?
It's rarely just that. It's fear. But it's a very specific kind of fear. It's not even usually a fear of the children themselves.
No.
It's a fear of the process, a fear of scrutiny. The sources are full of quotes like, "I'm not the right sort of person," or "I don't want a social worker judging my life."
That resonates. I remember my own assessment. The Form F, they call it.
Yeah.
It is intrusive. They ask about your childhood, your past relationships, your finances. I totally get why people worry they won't make the cut. I saw one quote from someone who was genuinely worried they'd be rejected because their garden was messy.
That is a classic example of what we call self-disqualification. People invent these standards based on some, 1950s idea of domestic perfection.
Right. My house is a bit cluttered, or I have some debt, or I struggled with anxiety 10 years ago, so I'm out.
It's imposter syndrome, but for parenting. And that self-doubt is what keeps that 6,500 deficit in place. It isn't a lack of caring people in the UK.
Right.
It's a surplus of people who have disqualified themselves before the system even knows they exist.
Okay, so I think our mission for the rest of this deep dive has to be dismantling those doubts.
Let's do it.
Let's play a game of Mythbusters, UK Fostering Edition. We've looked at the top 3 reasons people talk themselves out of it during that 2-year... Wait, let's tackle them. Myth number 1, the age barrier. The belief that I'm too old to foster, I missed my chance. It's a young person's game.
So common and so wrong. If you look at the stats on the UK fostering workforce right now, the single largest group of carers is not people in their 30s.
No.
No, it's people in the 55 to 64 age bracket. That group makes up 44% of all carers.
Almost half. So if you're 58 and thinking you're past it, you're actually the statistical norm.
Absolutely. There is no upper age limit in the regulations. The requirement is just about health. Do you have the physical and mental energy to care for a child now? If yes, the date on your birth certificate is basically irrelevant.
And from my experience on the ground, age is often a massive asset. I know a carer, we'll call her Sarah, she started fostering in her late 60s, and honestly, she is often better at handling a crisis than carers in their 30s.
And why do you think that is?
It's the lack of volatility. When a teenager's having a total meltdown, a younger parent can take it personally. They panic, they think, I'm losing control. But Sarah, she has this incredible sort of grandparental patience. She just knows that this too shall pass. She doesn't have to prove anything. That emotional regulation is like gold dust for a child who's been through trauma.
That's a key point. Traumatized children have chaotic internal worlds. They don't need a parent matching their chaos with high energy. They need what we call co-regulation, a calm anchor.
Exactly.
And that calm often comes from having lived a life and knowing you can get through things. So yeah, myth busted.
Okay, next. Myth number 2, the practical one, housing.
The I need to own my own home myth.
Yes, or I live in a council flat, or I rent so they won't look at me.
Again, completely false. The tenure of your home, whether you own it, rent it, have a mortgage, it just doesn't matter. Stability matters, sure, but ownership doesn't.
However, we have to be clear here. There is one non-negotiable housing rule in the UK system.
Yes, the spare bedroom.
Let's just spend a second on this, because people often ask why. My kid shared a room. Why can't a foster child bunk in with my son?
It feels bureaucratic, but it's really rooted in safety and psychology. These children have often experienced severe neglect or abuse. Their understanding of boundaries and privacy is often, it's damaged.
So the room isn't just a place to sleep.
No, it's a sanctuary. It's what we call a secure base. They need to know they have a door they can close, a space that is 100% theirs. And from a safeguarding point of view, We generally don't allow room sharing to protect everyone involved.
Right. It just removes a layer of potential conflict.
It does. So you don't need a big house, but that spare bedroom, that's the golden key.
Okay, so age, housing. Let's do myth number 3, the really personal one, relationship status.
Ah, the perfect nuclear family myth.
Yes. The idea that you have to be a married, heterosexual couple. I'm single, or I'm divorced, or I'm gay, so I can't do it.
I love busting this one because the reality is so different. Single carers aren't just accepted, they are in huge demand. The system looks at you and your ability to care, not your marital status.
And actually, the source material points out that being a single carer can have specific advantages for some kids.
It absolutely can.
When you foster as a couple, there's a lot of, management. You have to agree on things, support each other.
Right. It adds a layer of adult negotiation.
Exactly. But as a single carer, the buck stops with you. The attachment channel is just, it's so clear. It's you and the child.
That attachment channel idea is so important. For a child who comes from a chaotic background, maybe with parents fighting, a household with just one calm, consistent adult, it just simplifies the emotional world. It turns the noise down.
A very direct bond.
That's it. So whether you are single, married, in a civil partnership, whatever, it's about your ability to provide a safe home. Everything else is secondary.
So let's just recap where we are. We've got 100,000 kids needing support, a system that is creaking, a shortage of 6,500 families that is causing real harm.
Splitting siblings.
And we've hopefully just smashed the idea that you need to be young, rich, and married to help.
We've stripped away the excuses, the barriers that people see, the reasons they sit in that 2-year wait. They're mostly internal.
So what now? If you're listening, you have a spare room, you're over 21, what's the next step?
This is where we go from theory to action. The next step is not to commit your life away, it's just to get information.
We'd recommend finding a beginner's guide to fostering online, or just contacting your local authority's fostering team. They all have info packs. It's about taking that 2-year wait and shrinking it to a 10-minute read.
And speaking of practical details, I know what some of you are thinking right now. We haven't talked about the other big elephant in the room.
Money.
Money. Do I get paid? How much? Can I still work? It's a huge topic and one people feel awkward asking about.
But it's vital.
Yeah.
This isn't just volunteering. You are a professional, a part of the team around that child.
Which is exactly why we are dedicating our entire next deep dive to it. We're calling it the money talk.
We'll break down the difference between the allowance for the child and the fee for you. We'll talk about qualifying care relief, the very generous tax scheme for carers.
We're going to get into all of it, so make sure you're subscribed for that.
Absolutely. But for today, I just want to leave you with this one thought. Go back to that number. 6,500 families. That's the gap. If everyone listening right now who has a spare room and the right heart just made one phone call, that gap disappears.
You don't need to be a superhero. The system doesn't need superheroes. They burn out. It just needs ordinary people, people willing to do something extraordinary.
Your ordinary life, your boring routine, your messy garden, your quiet evenings, that could be the most extraordinary thing that ever happens to a child in the UK care system. Just think about that. Thanks for diving in with us.